So, good evening, Mountain House. Thank you all for joining us tonight to celebrate our first full year as a city, our first birthday. Before we get started, of course, I have to please stand with and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag over here. All right, ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First, I really want to take this opportunity to give a special shout out to the Lambertsville Unified School District for sharing this beautiful facility with us tonight. I know I think their boards somewhere up here, their superintendent, principal of the high school, and all the staff in the district and the school that helped make this happen tonight. Thank you. I'm looking at the teleprompter, but I also want to thank the people behind the scenes that made this event happen tonight. You guys know how much work it took to get this thing started. So, Steve first, City Manager Steve Pinkerton, and then Steve hired Deputy City Manager Jody. I can't say her last name, so it's Jody. And our Public Information Officer, is that the official title? Amanda. And all the staff out there, still out there, thank you. We couldn't have done this without you. All right, so now, what's next? All right, now I'm going by the script. Okay. I want to recognize some of the dignitaries here who have joined us tonight and supported us over the years. Your belief in this community helped us shape this place into the beautiful city that it is now. As I call your name, even though you're going to be in the dark, please rise so we can show our appreciation. And kindly hold your applause until all the names have been read. So first, my fellow council members, Vice Mayor Bernice Tingle, Council Member Dan Harrison, Council Member Matt Disco, Council Member Ronna Green, Congressman Josh Harder is not here, but Fatima, you're somewhere over there, right? Where are you? Is he here? I didn't see her. Assembly Member Rhodesia Ransom is here. And you brought a bunch of your staff. Please stand up and we appreciate it. Thank you. You brought her whole team. How come I don't have a team like that, Steve? All right, County Supervisor Robert Rickman. And his beautiful wife. Don't forget her. Come on, Karen. We only have Robert because of you. Ron Freitas, is he here? I didn't see him earlier. County Sheriff's Office Assistant Sheriff Mike Easton, are you up there somewhere? I can't see. All right, big hand for him too. County Administrator Sandy Regalo, is she here? I don't know. And then, I did see Charlie, Manteca Council Member, I think he's the Vice Mayor. Charlie? Oh, okay, yeah, so wait, Charlie Halford, where are you, Charlie? Yeah, there you go. And County Assessor Steve, I saw you earlier somewhere. Oh, that's right, thank you. Again, I want to thank the Lambertsville Unified School District Governing Board President Lisa Boulay. Where are you, Lisa? That's right. One of the best things about Mountain House, everybody says, the school district. So thank you guys. Board Clerk Stephanie Olson. Board Member Benita is not here, right? No? And Samik, not here. But thank you anyways. And board member David Pombo, former board president, living time. Superintendent and my golf partner, when his back's not hurting, Dr. Nicholas. And Dr. Pablo Ortega from Delta College. You're here somewhere. It's pitch dark out there. I can't see anybody. So, members of the California unincorporated, is that what it is? Unincorporated, President Michael Seaman, Vice President Catherine Borges. Somewhere out there. A lot of people to thank. This has been a long journey. So, City Attorney John Fokker, where are you, John? I didn't butcher your name tonight. City Manager Steve Pinkerton again. And we have a lot of developers, so I'm just going to thank all the developers. I don't know if Mike's here today. I saw Jerry, but Dave's here, right? Oh, Mike David, right? Oh, I can't see. Thank you guys. Then we have Erica Cuevas. Where are you, Erica? Over here from Senator Jared McCurdy's office. She has a special presentation she'd like to present to the city from Senator Jared McCurdy's office. Later? Okay. Now? Okay, I guess you're coming up now. They just threw that in there.
Good evening, everyone. I'll keep this short and sweet. It's a pleasure to be here with you all on behalf of Senator Jerry McNerney. And we did want to recognize just how momentous this occasion is, so I will go ahead and present the certificate of recognition, which reads as, in recognition of your inaugural State of the City, celebrating a dynamic first year of official cityhood. Congratulations on this momentous milestone, fostering a vibrant community through diverse and intentional programs, paving the way for continued growth and prosperity. Thank you.
I would also like to recognize a group of people who don't always stand out in the spotlight, but deserve to be acknowledged tonight, our city staff. City staff, please stand so we can properly thank you tonight. Amanda, Jody, there's a lot of you guys spread out everywhere. Now, instead of telling you about what makes this place special, we're going to show you. This is Mountain House.
They said it couldn't be done, that this was just open land, a blank canvas, too ambitious, too uncertain, no name, no streets, just fields. But some could see what others couldn't, a place where families might one day put down roots, where neighborhoods would rise and futures would unfold, a future built not just on blueprints, but on vision. Brick by brick, street by street, they poured in the work, the patience, the hope. Because vision takes more than imagination, it takes courage and commitment. The strength to plant roots where others saw limits. The faith to invest in something that might not bloom for years. Mountain House was never just a development. It was a belief that with the right people, the right values, and enough determination, a true community could grow where there was once only earth. And now, here we are, 1 year as a city. A milestone decades in the making, a foundation laid for generations to come. This city was dreamed into existence by those who refused to settle for what was and dared to believe in what could be. The city of Mountain House is a place where families grow, where businesses thrive, and where community isn't just a word, it's a way of life. A city shaped by dreams, driven by doers, and still just getting started. This is Mountain House.
doesn't say it, but great job, Amanda, or whoever worked on that. I had never seen that video before, actually. That was the first time. Even after she sent it to me last night, I said, I'm not going to watch it. Before I do the next part, I do want to acknowledge and thank my mother, who traveled all the way here from Arizona. Stand up, Mom. And my cousin, who brought her here, and my aunt from Palo Alto. They're here tonight to celebrate with me. My kids are here, but they don't want me to embarrass them, so I won't mention the names. All right. To help us start the program, I'd like to introduce someone who brings heart, history, and vision to everything she does. Our Vice Mayor has played a key role in keeping us grounded from where we came from, while helping us guide where we go. Please join me in welcoming Vice Mayor Bernice Tingle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Dr. Andy K. Sue. You know, I'm excited about tonight because it is our first year anniversary, but I'm excited about how far we've come, and I'm excited about the turnout of you coming. You know, before we had a city council or even a town center, we had something stronger. We had belief. Mountain House began as a vision, a community that would be built from the ground up with intention, inclusion, and heart. It was a promise to future generations, but a promise like that doesn't keep itself. It takes people. It takes you. People who show up for meetings and people who work behind the scenes. Tonight we honor a group of those people. They served, they shaped, and they stood steady through planning meetings, through groundbreakings, through long nights of tough decisions, recognizing, and I'd like you to please join me in recognizing these former board members. If some of the board members, I'm going to read them all, but if some of them aren't here, I'll go on, but I want everyone to stand, and could you hold your applause until the end, because these are the board members that help shape our city thus far and get us into cityhood. Matt Balzerini, Jim Lamb, Eric Payne, Celeste Farron, Jazz Singh, Steve Gutierrez, Brian Lucent, Manuel Moreno, Daniel Harrison, Harry Dillon, Matt Disco. Until we went into cityhood, we had actually 13 people that stayed on the board, and there are still 2 of us still here serving today. That's Mayor Andy K. Sue and myself. We're proud to have given 16 years of service and 16 years of our life to this community, and we continue to do so today. Every community has founders, but not every community gets a night like this, where the people who helped start it are all celebrated in front of new neighbors, old neighbors, new friends, family. Mountain House has always been more than policies and projects. It's always been about people, about you. And now to take us back to those early days, and I call them the pioneer years, let's reflect on the foundation that helped build. Please help me welcome our very first general manager, Mr. Paul Sensabaugh.
Okay, this is my first time at teleprompter, so here we go. And thank you, Vice Mayor Tingle. It's an honor for me to be a part of the first ever State of the City celebration. Back in 2000, I was selected by the County Board of Supervisors to serve as the first general manager for what the Associated Press called the first new town of the new millennium. Many of my Stockton colleagues thought I was crazy to leave a stable job for a dream on paper. But I saw it as a once-in-a-lifetime challenge to help design and govern the entire town from the ground up. There were no utilities, no infrastructure, just cows, three roads, 3 houses, that type of thing. My first job was to hire people I trusted, who would challenge me, Gay Giles became our first finance director. Mimi Duzinski, right down here, I don't know if Gay's out there or not, joined us soon after, serving in several roles, including the interim general manager. A young UOP intern, Jody Almasney, now deputy city manager, was also part of our early team. We focus on building more than roads and buildings. We created a culture, hosting potlucks, teaching character traits, and building a community people wanted to be a part of. Mountain House got its name from the halfway stop during the gold rush. It was fitting that this was always meant to be a place where journeys meet. In 2003, the first residents moved to Wickland. Monthly town meetings started, and most common question was always, when are we going to get a grocery store? And years later, they finally came. We grew up a unique model, a dependent district with more public services than any other in California. Still, full cityhood was a long term away. The 2008 housing crash was the toughest test. Funding dried up. Staff was cut in half. We turned off the lights and the signals, and every dollar was stretched. But we did survive, thanks to a dedicated team and residents like Celeste Ferret, who stepped up here to help. Some memories still make me smile. Sensabaw's Way street line from Don Johnson, for all things. Our first kite festival, and even the short-lived dog park. Each moment was a part of the story. As I told Steve Dinkerton when I joined, I'm no longer the big dog, but I know where the bones are buried. We're here to serve the public, not ourselves. Mountain House succeeded because we had the right people at the right time. Now it's your turn to keep the dream alive. Stay true to the master plan and never stop building the future. Mountain House will always be my baby. Not because welcome back. This is the telethon. I gotta read, step back. I'm gonna turn it over to Mary Andy Sue again. All right.
Thank you, Paul, and Mimi, and Nodder, and who else was here? Harple, and all the other CSD staff. You didn't just help launch Mountain House, you helped shape its identity. 1 year ago, we became a city in name. Over the past 12 months, we have become a city in practice. We launched our first strategic plan. We created ordinances and policies and procedures that reflect who we are and what we value. We strengthened infrastructure, modernized operations, and improved services our residents count on. But more importantly, we built something harder to measure. We built trust. Trust between city leadership and the people we serve, trust in our shared process, trust in each other. We also stayed focused on what matters the most: community, connection, and care. These values have guided us in every decision and every conversation. That is how we move from concept to city, not just by changing our name, but by showing up and doing the work. You can see the results across our community, from stronger public safety coverage, to opening of new parks and open spaces, from welcoming new families, to start new traditions, from paving roads and hosting celebrations. We're writing the next chapter of our story together. We celebrated big wins and small moments. We held town halls, listened to our residents, and adjusted our course when we needed. We have stayed open, honest, and focused on building trust. This is the work of a city that puts people first. Let's remember that this is not the finish line, but it is the beginning. It is a strong foundation for what comes next. It is the starting point we will build on together. Some of the people who helped start this community are with us tonight, and so are new families just joining the journey. That is what makes Mountain House special. It grows, it is welcoming, it adapts, and it moves forward. Now to share more about the vision and the path ahead, please welcome someone who has helped guide us through this incredible first year and really the last 5 years, our city manager, Steve Pinkerton. Welcome.
That's not a good sign when we're bringing our water with us, right? It's going to take a while. Thank you, Mayor Sue. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here tonight. Want to share some updates on where we're heading as a city. Mountain House has always taken a thoughtful approach to growth. We don't just move quickly, we move with intention. This year has been about aligning that approach with clear, measurable goals. Our strategic plan, which is the highest priority of the council, helps connect daily work with long-term direction, gives us structure. It helps departments stay coordinated, and it gives residents a better picture of how our decisions tie into the bigger picture. The plan was built through council leadership, public feedback, and a lot of work behind the scenes. It touches nearly every part of what we do, from how we design neighborhoods to how we manage timelines, permits, and public services. You can see on the screen the key focus areas of our strategic plan. To make sure we stay on task, we'll be reporting back at a city council meeting on our progress in these key focus areas, and we'll be doing that every quarter. The presentations this evening you're going to hear focus on these key areas. Key area number 1 is our transition to an incorporated city. Now, as you know, as a city, things have changed a bit. We're now responsible for all land use issues, including planning, zoning, building permits, building inspection. In addition, one of the main requirements of the new city is to have what every other city is required to do, and that's what's called the general plan. This is a long-range document that provides additional support to the master plan, which has guided our development for the past 3 decades. This general plan will help us further address in more detail and update quality of life issues such as traffic circulation, open space, public services, affordable housing, and air quality. We could go on for 3 hours on this, but instead you'll be hearing a lot more about this process over the next year or so. We just hired our contractor to help us with this at last week's meeting. So we'll be holding town halls to get your feedback and guidance on this document, which in the planning world is called the Constitution for a community's planning and development and land use. So what else besides planning and zoning has changed now that we're a city? Well, we did have district codes in the past, but we were somewhat restricted in what we could do as a district. And so now we have what's called our own municipal code. We now have local control over things such as business licenses, street parking, zoning enforcement, and other related authorities. This has allowed us to set standards consistent with our community priorities. So you're not dealing just with county-wide ordinances anymore, you have ones that are specific to Mountain House. And so now you no longer have to figure out whether or not you're supposed to call the county or the CSD when you have an issue. So for example, when you have an issue on, neighborhood issue, a streetscape issue, a building permit issue, it's simple now. You call the city. Have an issue with a vehicle that's been sitting there abandoned for 3 weeks in front of your house, hopefully 3 days, you can call the city. You want to apply for a business license, call the city. And for each of these issues, you can go to our website as well. You don't have to dig around our website and the county website and the state website. It's all here. So that's probably one of the biggest subtle changes we have as a city. We've also expanded our partnerships at the regional level. If you were at our 0 anniversary last year, we had our swearing in, you saw a lot of our partners from our surrounding cities. And the reason for that is there's a lot of collaboration we have to do countywide and beyond. The biggest one of those being our San Joaquin County Council of Governments, COG itself, the COG. Its membership includes all 8 cities, we're number 8, remember, in the county, as well as representation from the County Board of Supervisors as well. The COG board is the traffic cop, so to speak, for allocating all the county, state, and federal transportation funding. It also takes the lead in what's called the Regional Housing Needs Allocation. That's a good bureaucratic word, or RHNA. And you'll learn a lot more about that when we're adopting our first housing element, which is part of the general plan. Primarily, though, the COG allocates tens of millions of dollars a year for transportation, and I'm happy to say that Mountain House is now a recipient of some of those funds, including funds for local and regional transit. Now, speaking of transit, we get a lot of questions about that. We're in the process of what's called, another one of these things they require us to do with a lot of words, assessing our unmet transit needs. We'll be working on that this summer and be reporting back to the City Council with potential options in the current budget year. Outside of COG, we have some other big transportation initiatives, as you know. We're finally done with the Bridge to Nowhere. We've got some more things to do now. And we now are working on some projects over in Alameda County, just out west on Grant Line Road, where we were going to be constructing roundabouts over by the Mountain House Road and Altamont Roads. We're hoping to break ground on those within the next year or so. We also received significant funding from COG, not just for new construction, but for the cost of repairing and preserving our local street system. And that's really the next thing that is really a big focus of our strategic plan is infrastructure and planning. You know, it's no accident that this Council of Governments, COG, focuses a lot of money on not just new roadways, but existing roadways as well. Because, you know, once we build all these streets, and every city has hundreds of miles of streets to pave, those have to be maintained. And yes, we are working on Byron Road, but that's a discussion for another day. In fact, the person, Bob over here, is helping us right now, right, Bob, on Byron Road? So if you have Byron Road questions, there he is. Don't call me. That is a developer responsibility, but we're working closely to get it expedited. Although I will tell you that some of the car repair places in Tracy want us to keep it just the way it is. And so just like the other cities, we have a lot of these roads and amenities that we have to make sure stay in good condition. And we still have a lot more projects in the pipeline that we're going to need to manage as well. But as you know, we're over 20 years old now. I joke that Mountain House is old enough to drink now. I think we just turned, next week we'll turn 22 as far as residents moving in the community. So we have a lot of older infrastructure at this point in time. And so we have a lot of repair and maintenance that we need to do. So let's see, is it on the next slide here? The inventory. So we have a lot of assets that now need maintenance. And one of the things to remember about on maintenance is the sooner you do it, the longer you can maximize its useful life and save money in the long run. And so the council's made it very clear to us that we manage these assets in the most cost-effective manner possible. This means sticking to our maintenance and replacement schedules, spending a little bit of money now instead of an unaffordable amount later. You know, for example, we have what's called a pavement maintenance program that generates a regular schedule based on the age and the traffic on a road of how frequently we should be slurry sealing streets throughout the city. And our staff's done a great job over the last decade plus making sure that we keep up with that. And what that's done is we by far have probably what's called the best pavement condition index in the county. The last community I worked in, when I got there, we had a $125 million backlog on pavement maintenance because they hadn't set enough money aside for that. Here in Mountain House, our backlog is virtually zero, saving all of us tens of millions of dollars down the road. And we want to apply those same principles to all of our other assets, be it our utilities, our parks equipment, our traffic signals, everything that has a useful life of 5 or 10 years. We want to make sure that these investments will ensure that we don't have unexpected budget shocks in the future. We're also not just focused on maintenance, we're focused on when we construct facilities to make sure that they're built with long-term maintenance in mind as well. Everything from our neighborhood entry portals, we're trying to build those that they'll have as long a life as possible. We're not overbuilding our park walkways. We don't need a park walkway every 20 feet. We've got a lot of lakes, as you know, going in the north part of town. We want to make sure those pumps are going to last a long time, and we're not going to have to spend a lot of time maintaining those. So we've put, and in addition in those new neighborhoods, besides making sure that they're going to be cost effective to maintain, we put some new funding programs in for the new neighborhoods to ensure that these new neighborhoods are going to be able to pay for themselves. They have a higher level of amenity in some cases, but that also means a higher level of maintenance in the future. So we want to make sure that you're not paying for the new neighborhoods. The folks in those neighborhoods are going to be paying for all those additional amenities, and then hopefully they'll pay for themselves. We also, you hear a lot about smart infrastructure in our world. We want to make sure our infrastructure lasts and it's intelligent as well. We have, hopefully, except it seemed like at the Christmas party, we want our sprinklers only to water plants when necessary. Now, they do go off certain times they shouldn't, but for the most part, we're trying to make sure we don't water unless we need to. We don't need a lot of lights on if nobody's in an area. There's a lot of things like that we could save a lot of money by having what's called smart infrastructure. We're also doing the same thing with our master plan for communications and public safety technology. We've got a long-term plan on putting in as many cameras as we can and as much digital infrastructure as we can as we go forward, so that these things can help us from a safety standpoint and a long-term maintenance standpoint. So overall, we're very focused on making sure we manage our assets wisely. We have this great advantage over all our surrounding communities. We've already seen everything that they've done wrong. I worked in some of those cities and got to, during the Great Recession, you learn the hard way, and I swore we would never let that happen if I got to start a city, and here we are, and we're trying to make sure that we don't have all those legacy costs. So part of the larger strategy, too, is to make sure that we're constantly planning, and that we're not just worried about today, but we are worried about the future. And we're worried about 5 years from now as well, and 10 years from now. Because a lot of you will still be here, and we want to make sure that the investment you made is reinforced and isn't too costly to the taxpayers. I really want to thank our public works and engineering staff for taking the lead on these things and being real problem solvers, and really committed to doing these things the right way. So thanks, public works staff. I know some of them are here. So now let's move on from what's under our feet, all the stuff we staffers find interesting underground, and talk about the places where we gather and connect. And Councilmember Matt Disco is going to share with us what's happening in Parks and Recreation.
Park is here on behalf of the dog park. All right, thanks, Steve. So in Mountain House, parks are more than just open spaces. They're where people gather, unwind, and connect with neighbors. You see it every day. Families at playgrounds, kids riding scooters, and residents walking their dogs. These shared spaces are part of what makes our community feel welcoming and complete. Over the past year, we made steady progress in improving how those spaces are serving the people. We added shade structures and upgraded play equipment in several parks with accessibility in mind. We broke ground on a new dog park, giving pet owners a dedicated space to let their dogs run and socialize. And given the interest in our temporary dog park, we're already looking at other locations for future dog-friendly areas. We continue to invest in community events. More than 30 public gatherings took place, from movie nights and food festivals to craft fairs and celebrations. These events bring residents together. They give families something to look forward to and create opportunities to build relationships with their neighbors. And this year we saw record-breaking attendances at several of them. People just aren't showing up. They're staying longer, engaging more, and bringing their friends. Alongside these efforts, we've been focused on long-term planning. We started updating our recreation master plan, which helps us make smart decisions about how and where to expand. This includes evaluating community needs, mapping out future amenities, and ensuring every neighborhood has access to high-quality outdoor space. That planning is already leading to results. We're developing a new tennis center, and we'll be adding more pickleball courts to meet the growing demand. In 2 weeks, DIRT will be moving on our outdoor community amphitheater. That will be able to host live concerts, performances, seasonal programs, and public gatherings of all sizes. This will be a central space where residents can enjoy entertainment, celebrate milestones such as tonight, and experience the arts right here at home. We're also working with our development partners to expedite the final stages of Central Park. As noted earlier, directly east of Town Hall, we've approved the schematic design for a state-of-the-art community recreation center. This complex will include community meeting rooms, indoor sports courts, and I know folks have been asking about this for years, our outdoor aquatic center with a competition pool and splash park. We hope to break ground on that project later this next year. Future phases of Central Park will include large sports fields to accommodate soccer and cricket, and a complex for skate park and baseball teams. Adjacent to the fields will be picnic areas and convenient parking. Next slide. We're also planning to fast-track a portion of the parks directly west of Safeway. This site is now designated for our Veterans Liberty Garden. We're hoping that many of you will contribute to this space, which will honor our local veterans. Donations are being accepted now. Contact Andy or Jody for a donation form. As the community expands, we are creating more trail connections, enhancing and updating amenities in our existing and new parks, and ensuring that we have spaces to support seniors, youth, and families with small children. The goal is to build a park system that serves everyone at every stage of life. Parks and recreation aren't just about leisure. They're tied to public health, youth engagement, and the overall sense of safety and belonging in a neighborhood. We've seen toddlers playing tag, teens on the courts, and seniors enjoying morning walks. That variety shows us that these investments matter across all generations. We're proud of the progress, and we know there's so much more to do. As Mountain House grows, we'll continue expanding across access to safe, well-maintained, and thoughtfully designed spaces. Thank you to our Parks and Recreation staff and their commitment, and thank you to our residents who continue to show up, speak up, and make the most of what we're building together. Applause for yourself. Now, let's shift to another area that supports strength and well-being of our community, public safety. Councilmember Dan Harrison will share that update.
Thank you, Councilman Disco. So, hey, happy birthday, Mountain House, huh? So before, I did 39 years in law enforcement, so public safety is definitely true to my heart. Public safety is something we all rely on, and over the past year, we've taken real steps to make sure everyone feels safe, supported, and ready when it counts. One of the biggest milestones was the opening of Fire Station 2. As of today, July 1st, the station is fully operational and fully staffed. This means faster response times, improved coverage, and better support for our growing neighborhoods. We now have the capacity to reach more residents more quickly and with the level of service this community expects. We're proud of this achievement, and here's a quick look at the journey behind Fire Station 2.
Is a major step forward for our community. This $7 million facility was designed to improve response times and protect firefighter health. The station was built with two goals in mind: to help residents faster and create a safer environment for our crews. Its location expands across growing neighborhoods. The 4-fold bay doors open in under 7 seconds, helping crews hit the road faster with better visibility during urgent calls. Inside, the layout prioritizes health and safety. It includes an outdoor decontamination shower and clearly defined hot, warm, and cold zones that separate contaminated gear from living spaces. teenagers reduce exposure to harmful toxins and support long-term wellness. The station also includes specialized water rescue equipment to respond more effectively to emergencies near our local ponds and waterways. Every element was thoughtfully planned with input from city staff, fire personnel, and regional partners. It reflects the high standard we hold for public safety and the value we place on collaboration. As Mountain House grows, so does the need to invest in strong infrastructure and responsive services. Fire Station Number 2 is a reflection of that commitment. It's not just a new building. It's part of the bigger plan to keep residents safe and to support those who protect them.
Pretty neat, huh? Is Chief Marty in the house here? Hey, Marty, can you stand up real quick? I just wanted everybody to introduce our fire chief. Thank you. But that's just not one piece of the work we've done. We've also expanded our traffic enforcement efforts by adding another motorcycle deputy. This added presence helps us reduce speed and improve safety on some of our busiest streets. Through our selective traffic enforcement program, we've targeted school zones and neighborhood corridors to protect both drivers and pedestrians. And speaking of school safety, we launched something new this year that's already making a big difference. Our crossing guard program now supports multiple school sites across Mountain House. We have 20 dedicated crossing guards trained and present in helping students and family navigate intersections safely during the busiest times of the day. Among those stepping up to serve, Councilmember Rhonda Green, please give her a... Rhoda's helping model what community cares and looks like. Communication has also improved. We rolled out a new emergency alert system that allows us to send accurate, real-time updates during critical situations. Whether it's a weather event, road closure, or public safety concern, we can now reach more people more quickly. We expanded our neighborhood patrol coverage through strong partnerships with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office and Rank Security. More patrol means quicker response times, increased visibility, and a stronger sense of presence across the community. And we are continuing to expand our security camera program, which has been an invaluable tool to our public safety team. Those cameras have not only helped track perpetrators, but have served as a crime deterrent as well. If you come to Mountain House, chances are we know when you've arrived, where you went, and when you leave town. And we continue to invest in our people. Our community response team is growing. We now have more trained residents who are prepared to step in and support their neighbors during emergencies. We've also upgraded our traffic safety infrastructure, adopted smarter policing tools, and introduced new data systems that will help us act before small issues becoming bigger problems. In addition, you should be hearing more this year about our traffic calming program, which allows neighborhoods to work with the city to lower vehicle speeds and improve traffic safety. From emergency response to school safety, we're building a system that's modern, responsive, and built around the needs of our residents. Thank you to our public safety professionals, partners, and volunteers. Thanks for all your efforts. Even as we've grown into a large city and added shopping and businesses, we continue to have the lowest rate of crime in the region. I'm proud of what we've accomplished and even more encouraged by what's ahead. Now let's look at how we're investing in long-term sustainability and preparing Mountain House for the future. And that's Steve, back to you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Dan. Sorry, I don't have any videos either. People never want to see videos of the wastewater plant. I don't understand why. But when we talk about sustainability, we're really talking about responsibility. How we take care of what we have today affects what we leave for tomorrow. Over the past year, we've made important progress in protecting our resources and planning for long-term resilience. When you turn on your tap, jump in the shower, or flush the toilet, you take for granted the water's going to flow, and then it's going to go down the sink, drain, or toilet, and then be properly discharged at some location far, far away. And unlike your car, unlike your cell phone, and particularly unlike your internet service provider, you assume these processes are going to function perfectly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days of the year without the need for a reset button, a system backup, or that 24-hour wait on hold for your internet service provider. So that's your expectation, and that is the service level that we do provide. Now, to meet that service level, we have to make improvements and repairs well in advance of when we're running out of capacity or our systems are getting old. One of our biggest accomplishments this year was completing with our partners at MHD phase 3 of our wastewater treatment plant. We held a ribbon cutting at this $61 million facility this past fall, and it's added a lot more capacity so that we can serve our population well into the future, and just as important, if not importantly, improve our discharge, what we're putting into Old River, and be much cleaner than it was in the past on a consistent basis. This upgrade ensures that we can handle increased demand while meeting strict water quality standards. It's an important step forward for public health, efficiency, and regional coordination. We also upgraded our stormwater infrastructure across the city. You don't think about it, but when it rains, it's very important that rain gets off the road and goes somewhere where it's not going to create any problems. And so it's very important that we, as our stormwater comes along, that it goes away and it's cleaned along the way so that it doesn't impact our streams. In addition, water conservation remains a top priority. We've expanded our water conservation programs and introduced new leak detection tools that allow us to respond faster and prevent unnecessary water loss and, of course, unnecessary water bills as well. Another project in motion is what's called the Aquifer Storage and Recovery Well, or ASR. We're in the early stages of planning, working on this long-term design for this process. The idea is very simple. In wet years, we'll be able to store excess water underground, and in dry years, we can bring that water back up for use. It's a very powerful strategy to help stabilize our water supply in a changing climate and with a state regulatory agency that sometimes tries to take some of our water away. At the same time, we've begun, speaking of the state, we've begun preparing for those statewide, what are called SB 1383 requirements for our waste reduction goals. That's why you have to put all that stuff in your green waste bin now. And this law aims to reduce the amount of organic waste in our landfills, which cuts methane emissions. And our team, as required by law, is working to expand composting programs, improve recycling services, and educate the public about the new requirements. In fact, the state's going to be requiring us to do a lot of education soon. We're also evaluating clean energy options for city buildings, from solar panels to energy efficient lighting. And we're applying smarter planning tools to ensure that sustainability is built into how we grow. Not just how we operate, but how we grow as well. You may not have seen all the work done at the plant or done through our distribution system, all those pipes under the ground, but all these things protect our environment and ensures that your drinking water, your wastewater, and your storm drain systems are always there when you need them, which of course is all the time. Sustainability is not just a plan. It's a way of thinking across departments and across decisions. It touches everything that we do. Nobody goes through the day, I don't think, without drinking water or flushing the toilet, that's for sure. And so we're making sure as we design our neighborhoods, we continue to make sure we do those in a responsible manner so that our children and grandchildren inherit a community that still providing safe, effectively processed water and wastewater. Now, real quickly, let's take a look at how we're supporting the local economy, attracting investment, and growing opportunity here in Mountain House. So this past year has been full of progress, as everybody's mentioned. As we look at the road ahead, we continue to lay a solid foundation for long-term economic development here in Mountain House. We're approaching this work with great intention, and that starts with our first official economic development strategy, which is one of the top council priorities in the strategic plan. This strategy will help guide how we attract new businesses, support the businesses who are already here. Thank you for dinner tonight from our local businesses. And to build an economy that's strong and diverse. It's a roadmap that will shape not just what we grow, but how we grow. When putting together this economic development plan, the first thing you have to do is assess what's called the existing conditions in your community. And when looking at Mountain House, I think that number one good, powerful existing condition is you, our community members. We're now home to almost 30,000 of us. All probably can't believe that from when it was, what, 3 cows and a couple other guys. And so we've got almost 30,000 people living in 9,000, a variety of single-family homes, condominiums, apartments, and guest houses. And as you can tell, driving to the south and north ends of town, hundreds of homes and some apartments are currently under construction. Within 10 to 15 years, we expect our population to grow from about 30,000 to 50,000 people, now living in about 6,000 more, or a total of about 15,000 dwelling units. We've done a number of surveys, and what we understand is about 30% of you work from home most of the time right now, 20% of you work at home occasionally, and nearly 50% of you commute all the time, primarily to the Bay Area. And after all that driving, I'm sure most of you would like to do a lot less driving to get to stores after all that driving during the week, right? Yeah? Yeah. The good news is that when retailers look at an area, the big things they look at are how many people and how much money. And so we're trying to build up the how many people side, but we also have a very good, what they call good demographics. The median family income in this community is 90% higher than the county average. The percentage of college graduates is more than double the county rate. I think for age 25 and up, we're over 50% versus 22% in the county as far as college graduates. And most of our workforce is well equipped for the complex technical jobs of the future. Things that employers like to look at when they're locating where they're top flight. They also like looking at that and what kind of schools that you have and what kind of opportunities do you have for higher education. You know, I don't think I have to tell anyone in this room that we now live within the top school district in the Central Valley. I think everybody would agree with that. And all you have to do is look at the numbers, and I think we have a school district that's right up there eye to eye with the top performing schools in the Bay Area as well. I mean, no doubt. And I'm glad to see Dr. Ortega is here tonight because we are lucky to have a community college campus that's well poised for the future and is very supportive of providing educational opportunities of all shapes and sizes here in Mountain House. And Dr. Ortega will tell us, they're not only interested in post-secondary education and adult education, but potentially supporting our K-12 system as well. And thanks to the voters of San Joaquin County, a bond issue, was approved last November that should give us our first brand new building on our Delta College campus. Breaking ground at some point in the near future. I'm sure we'll be talking to Dr. Ortega more about making sure that we get to be first on the list this time. And so this Delta campus we want it to be a destination location for students seeking a top flight education. See, that rhymes, Dr. Ortega. And the other nice thing is, if you look at their plan, they've got over 100 acres over there in College Park, and they've got plenty of room, even after they build their buildings, to probably accommodate some Bay Area companies looking for a Central Valley location as well. So they've got I think we've got a lot of attractive land next to educational institutions we could offer here in Mountain House. So with all these great assets, our city council has really said, look, this should not be a problem. Let's bring some economic development to Mountain House. Let's bring more companies, more retailers, and more entrepreneurs to our community. We're also working closely with our master developers to make sure that beyond the college, there's also other adequate sites available for commercial development as well. Now, one project, I know people are asking about retail, one project that should have an immediate impact on future business opportunities is the extension of Mountain House Parkway north of Byron Road. There's just a couple more approvals needed from our friends who manage the railroads. That only took, what, Dave, about 15 years to get through the railroads. And now we're at the Public Utilities Commission, so very soon we should have new crossings of the railroad at both Mountain House Parkway and Great Valley Parkway. Next year, Dave, you think? Next year.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and there's some good retail sites up there as well. And it's also important to remember that economic development is not just about having real estate and infrastructure available to attract new businesses. It's also about having the right government team in place to help businesses get land and buildings improved in an efficient and cost-effective manner. And once our businesses are operating, it's about ensuring that they have an environment that's safe, attractive, and affordable. The same factors that you look at when you're selecting a home. Now, how do we do that? Well, we've talked about some of this earlier. All the plans are in place to make sure our assets are maintained in a cost-effective manner that keeps taxes and fees at a reasonable level, are all things very important to businesses. Making sure that we have an adequate water supply and plenty of sewer capacity is critical as well. And we've created a staff culture that puts customers first. A priority of our strategic plan is to establish customer service metrics and KPIs, key performance indicators, to make sure we're meeting those standards. It's one of the reasons we brought our utilities in-house, was to make sure we gave you the highest service possible. So regular outreach to all our customers, both residential and commercial, is also key to our customer service goals. So we think we have all the right characteristics to create a thriving business community. And now that we're a city, we have access to even more tools to implement that strategy. And we'll be creating that in partnership with all of you. So now let's hear more about forging this public-private resident partnership through communication and public outreach. Councilmember Ron Green will walk us through the progress we've made in keeping residents informed and connected.
Thank you, Steve. Wow, I wasn't ready yet. I was still over there practicing. Thank you, Steve. Becoming a city doesn't come with a handbook. I wish somebody would have told me that. But with that said, it takes clear communication, honest dialogue, and a lot of listening. That's why this year we made communications a top priority. Our goal was to make sure every resident feels informed, included, and able to engage with what's happening in Mountain House. Because good government depends on good communication, and that starts with trust. We began with the basics. We launched new monthly newsletters so residents could receive consistent updates without needing to search for answers. These newsletters have become a regular touch point for important news, community events, and helpful reminders. We upgraded our My Mountain House app to make it easier to report issues, to track responses, and to get updates on the go. Whether it's a streetlight outage or a missed bin, the app helps to close the loop between residents and city services. We've also brought our utility billing in-house. Yay! When you have a question about charges, you will be talking to someone right here in Mountain House and not in Timbuktu. We also brought people together in person. We hosted a series of town halls that created space for meaningful conversations. Residents had a chance to ask questions, to share their concerns, and to hear directly from city leaders. These gatherings help build transparency and stronger connections. I'm so very proud of the city-sponsored screening of the Fentanyl High documentary. Our town hall chambers were filled to capacity, and plenty of families are now aware of the major movement and aware that one pill can kill. We also plan for the moments when communication is critical. The City Council has adopted a comprehensive communications plan and a separate crisis communications plan. These guides ensure that during emergencies or fast-changing situations, we can provide accurate and timely updates to the community. We've expanded our digital presence and increased storytelling to highlight real voices from across Mountain House. By showing who we are and what we're working on, we help build a more informed and united community. We've also taken proactive steps to correct misinformation before it spreads. That means being responsive when confusion arises and doing our part to set the record straight in a respectful and fact-based way. The results of these efforts have been encouraging. We're seeing higher participation at events. More residents are signing up for email alerts and following our social media pages. We're receiving more questions and feedback, and that tells us people are paying attention. The real goal here is not to push out messages. It's to create a two-way conversation. We want communication to feel like a dialogue and not a broadcast. Because communication is not just a tool, it's a relationship that grows stronger when we listen, respond, and keep showing up. We'll continue improving how we reach people, how we hear people, and how we build a culture of transparency in everything we do. Thank you to everyone who has helped us strengthen communication this year. Your feedback, your engagement, and your voices are what guides this work. Now I'd like to welcome back Vice Mayor, Ms. Bernice King-Tingle.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Green. Tonight, we've taken time to reflect on where we've been and how far we've come. We've celebrated milestones, acknowledged challenges, and shared a clear view of the progress we've made together. But as we look ahead, it's clear the real momentum is just beginning. The upcoming year is more than continuing the work we started. It's about moving with intention. It's about delivering on the vision and the master plan that has been shaped by so many voices in this community. And I'd like to pause here because it's so important that we hear from the community in order to find out what your needs are. Because our council and board, we want to make decisions driven on your input. So what you say matters because this is your town, our town, and we work it together. Our job as a city council is to stay focused on that vision while making sure the steps we take today lead to a stronger, more connected tomorrow. We're continuing to advocate for regional transportation solutions. While progress on Valley Link has been slower than we hoped, we remain active partners at the table. We are voicing concerns, asking the tough questions, and staying committed to make sure your needs are not overlooked. We're also investing deeply in partnerships that are working right now. Our collaborations with Lambertsville Unified School District is helping to strengthen educational support and after-school programming. And our ongoing partnerships with Delta College brings adult education and workforce development opportunities closer to our home right here. You know, education is the core pillar of this community's identity. And these partnerships reflect our commitment to learning across generations. That includes our incredible Youth Action Committee, a group of driven, passionate students who are already stepping into leadership and making their voices heard. I want to pause here for a moment because we have some dynamic young people in Mountain House. We have an excellent school system which has been reflected earlier, but we have kids who are making decisions and they are born leaders, and all we need to do is to continue to encourage them. As their advisor for the past 15 years, I've seen firsthand their creativity, their courage, and their heart for service. And these kids in our community do serve. They help every organization that they're required to help, that ask for their assistance. And they're helping to shape our city. We have to listen to them, they're empowering, and we grow together. If any of our Youth Action Committee volunteers or kids are here in this theater right now, would you please stand? And I also want those who are the co-chairs to stand along with them. I just want to say that it just takes more of a team to make things happen. When we listen to our youth, they're our future. They run a meeting in an hour and they make things happen. So we can sometimes take something out of their playbook. We're also expanding public spaces that help define the rhythm of daily life. New parks, expanded sports courts, and gathering areas are on the horizon. There are places for wellness, creativity, and celebration. There are places where residents of all ages can come together. We're building more than structures. We're building community. In all of our work, our focus remains clear. Mountain House is and will continue to be a place that leads by heart, integrity, and purpose. The value, yeah, you can clap on that. Not part of the skit, but it's okay. The values we share as a community guide our choices. We want a town that is safe, inclusive, and responsive. One where our decisions are made transparently, where government is accessible, and where every student, every resident feels connected. This is not just a plan for the next year, it's a commitment to the next chapter, one shaped by progress, fueled by hope, and grounded in the idea that the best communities are the ones where we all build together. That's why your input's important. You are the heartbeat of this town, and everything we do starts with each of you. Now, to close out, please welcome back our wonderful Mayor, Dr. Andy Sue.
All right, we're wrapping up pretty soon. I did miss the screen earlier. I want to invite Supervisor Rickman to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make this brief. I just want to first of all say happy birthday to you and the residents of the city of Mountain House. And, you know, this State of the City, your very first one, it's an honor to be here. You guys did an excellent job. And I think the residents are very, very fortunate to live in a beautiful city as Mountain House and have a great mayor and board of relations. But on behalf of the Board of Supervisors and the County of San Joaquin, it's my honor to present this certificate of recognition to Mountain House and the residents of Mountain House in recognition of your 1 year of cityhood. The County of San Joaquin is a proud partner and is thrilled to join residents and city leadership in recognizing the notable milestone of making the city's first year anniversary. Congratulations on this noteworthy day of celebration signed by the board, and happy birthday. You don't even look any older.
All right, almost time for the drone show, so let me speed this up. Let's increase it to double speed. I'm kidding. Tonight has been about reflection, gratitude, and celebration. We've looked back at all the hard work that brought us here, and we've looked forward to all that's still to come. From department updates to future plans, from historic milestones to community achievements. We've seen how much care, effort, and collaboration goes into building a city like Mountain House. This place is not just made of roads and buildings, it's made up of people. I've always said, the best thing about Mountain House is its people. Before we head out to see our first ever drone show, I want to take this opportunity again to thank all the people that behind the progress, our city staff, the LUSD staff for helping us, our former CSD staff, the fire, Mountain House Fire, sheriffs, I don't know if they're still out there, but most importantly, community partners, developers, I forgot them. Most important of all though, I want to thank all of you, the residents. You are the reason why we do this. Your pride in this city continues to inspire us every day. Thank you all for being here tonight. All right, the drone show starts in about 15 minutes, so get out there and get a good seat and we'll enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.